Guys, welcome to another episode, Shut Up Mark Podcast, episode 5, right? Episode 5, I think we're on? Okay.
Historic
episode 5. When you hit 5, it's big.
Yeah, we're going.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you hit 5, it's huge.
Off.
You know what I mean? 5 films, 5 episodes of a TV show,
yeah.
5 podcast episodes. It's big time. We are here with Boston's own Jonathan Tucker of Kingdom.
Sure.
The Ruins.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, you said.
Super underrated. Tell people this all the time.
It's a good movie.
Great plot twist, too.
Yeah. No,
was that your first lead?
No, I was in, it was a few other projects. I did, like, the Black Donnellys before that.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I meant film. I didn't know. I know you.
Film, I did a few. Not that, yeah, I did a few before that.
Okay. As the build, because I remember you were, like, the first guy on, like,
that
commercial.
was, like, probably the first studio.
Yeah.
Lead, probably.
Because I remember I had heard about
that's
you.
A good question.
Yeah, I had heard about you up to that point, and like obviously social media wasn't what it was back then. This is
zero.
What, 07?
Oh, it was zero.
Yeah, zero. Mid 2000s. We're talking. There was
it
none.
was zero.
By the way, before we get it, I should hold on. Brought to you by the way, Shut Up Mark Podcast. Probably should talk about the sponsors.
Sure.
Dave's Hot Chicken, New England. Locations opening up across New England monthly. John,
I have Dave's Hot Chicken on La Brea in Los Angeles.
Wow. Okay, yeah, Fairfax. you're in the homeland out there.
Yeah, no, it's great.
East Hollywood.
Yeah,
they started. Locations popping up across New England monthly. Find a location near you. Try it ASAP. You will not regret it. Most recently opened in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is, by the way, the most profitable.
I saw your content. It looked huge. The store
it's
itself
massive.
looked
It's
massive.
crazy. It's like the Apple Store, but for Dave's Hot Chicken, right? And they are now the most profitable Dave's Hot Chicken location in the franchise. They are raking it in up there. And our new location is opening in Medford.
All right.
Where Boston Market used to be.
Where it was the first stop after Paul Revere after Charlestown.
Correct.
We went right to Medford town.
That's right.
Dave's Hot
Jaunted
Chicken
right
did
over.
too.
Yeah, exactly. See, they're just keeping up with their local history, man. It's sad to see a Boston Market go, not going to lie.
I think they did it to themselves.
They kind of
I was there
man.
when they started, when it was Boston Chicken.
Oh, it was
and
Boston
it was
Chicken,
awesome.
bro. I know.
And there's all these franchises that, like, they're, that's what you hope is that when they start out, you're like, this is an incredible product.
Just don't change anything.
Don't change
it's so
anything.
good. Yeah, I know.
And you know what normally happens is, like, the quality goes down and down. So maybe Dave's Hot Chicken will stop.
There's got to be some kind of thing there where it's like some crossroad you have to get to as a business, and you're like, we're going down this road or we're not.
Well,
it's
Boston
tough.
Market, they
Beef Market, man, you guys had great cornbread, even though it was sourly. Great mac and cheese. I mean, an outstanding mashed potato. The whole thing was great.
I know.
It was unbelievable.
R.I.P.
Also, Top Dog Law. If you or a loved one has been hurt at work on a movie set.
Oh, all right, Top Dog Law.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can call these guys at any time. Top Dog Law. If you or a loved one has been injured at work or anywhere else, anything personal injury related, reach out to Top Dog Law. Get the compensation and justice for you or your loved ones
you bet.
ASAP. And if you're looking for a car, John, finally today, 495 Jeep in Lowell, Massachusetts, 495. Obviously, anything under the Chrysler, Dodge, umbrella, Jeep, obviously. Anything under that umbrella, you go and you see my buddy Shah. They got a bunch of options for you. Brand new dealership, just remade the whole thing, put some money into it. Looks beautiful inside. It's a place you want to be in, place you feel comfortable in. And people are trying to get you in the car for you, right? So go in, see my buddy Shah, 495 Jeep in Lowell, Mass. You looking for a car? Now's the time to buy. Weather's opening up. You know what I'm saying?
Opening up, people.
You know what I'm saying? Drop the top off that Jeep, spin a couple donuts in the parking lot. You're good, man. With that being said, how's it feel to be back in Massachusetts, my friend?
Oh, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is my home. I was nursed, cradled, and reared across this bridge. We're in Cambridge now, in Charlestown.
Yeah.
And I was there today, frankly.
Yeah.
Late past 12 a.m. having beer at the Warren Tavern, which is my favorite bar in the entire world.
Is this the only place besides LA when you're working that you're out past 12 a.m.? You're a very, very like physically regimented dude.
Yeah, but you also you gotta have fun. It's
Sure.
like the whole. We've got to have discipline and restraint, and then you also have to be able to live your life.
You do.
I mean, it's such a trope, but there's all these people who smoked cigarettes and drank booze and ate chocolate until they died at 97 years old.
It is weird. Isn't it funny how you could do all the things right and drop
I want to do
a
lot of things right and be pretty consistent about it, and I do.
Right.
And I am really regulated, but I'm in Charlestown. I'm going to the Warren Tavern. I'm going to have some pints of Guinness.
Taverns every time. I've been in there about, I think, 3 times
That's where
now.
we first met.
One with you. It's where we first met.
Yeah,
One with
dude.
R.A. Shout out to Spittin' Chicklets.
Yeah.
And I think...
The Rear Admiral himself.
Yeah, R.A.'s a good dude, man. And one was with actually, I was kind of like on a little date. And all 3 times, place is dope.
Greatest spot in the
Go
world.
support that place. It's awesome. I think it's the oldest
Buddy,
pub, something.
That's where, that's where Revere drank in Washington.
Yeah,
and
man, it's a big deal. Warren Tavern's
Dr.
a big deal,
Warren
man.
himself.
Yeah, go support that place. So a bunch of new businesses, chains, franchises coming to Boston. That's one of like the only ones that have been there since quite literally like the inception of the city.
I had my
21st birthday in there.
party there. Oh, I had every birthday. I've had multiple birthdays, but the thing I think I'm most proud of, other than going there for every snow day during my elementary school experience, I had my engagement party there. So
nice.
They were kind enough, which is like it was very had to do some real.
Did they have you sign a picture and put it on the wall yet? Damn it!
No, there's no pictures on the wall.
Oh, there's no pictures on the wall. They could load that bad Larry up. Imagine if they kept signatures or autographs from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should hang the Declaration of Independence in that joint.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Forget DC. So you were one of kind of the first guys. I know you're obviously younger than Ben, Matt, and Mark, but to kind of come out of the city, get established in the film business, entertainment business, get situated with building a career for yourself. How did that start coming out of a place where, they kind of seemed like they picked the right people, like coming out, that moved out to LA at the right time. But you were like, how did it start? You were here.
Yeah, so I started dancing with the Boston Ballet.
Right.
I figured I needed more challenges in my personal life as a young boy in Charlestown. Why not just start doing ballet? And actually, Charlestown was like super supportive of it. It was the school that I went to out in Brookline every day, where some of the kids were slightly more had some more problems.
Go figure. Wouldn't expect it that way. Right?
But I had an amazing experience dancing and loved being on stage. Loved the process. Loved the opportunity to start at one place and see it really realized at scale. And I started doing some national commercials here in town. And
you snagged a big. That was your big. Remember when people used to
fruit
get breaks from
roll-ups.
commercials?
Yeah, dude.
That was a thing.
Big time.
Right?
It was also, by the way, it was also like real money too.
Yeah, dude, the commercial money is no joke. For the people that aren't privy to like the on-screen entertainment business when it comes to like advertising, so many people didn't Matt LeBlanc get like a Mentos commercial or something?
And back then really, it was different. Financially it was different, but yeah, you could really, it was like a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, being in a big commercial was like, got you one leg up.
For sure. And I remember like kind of like, family friends, a couple guys, do PJ Marino, shout out to PJ. He had that big Coca-Cola commercial, if you remember, with Kid Rock. Back around like 2000, 2001. It was like, told my girl I'd be home by 10, whatever. The people, my dad's friends know what I'm talking about. And dude, he just like chilled on that.
Yeah.
So like I'm talking, when you're talking about like residual checks and stuff like that, because you get paid with the commercial.
Pay crazy. Every time it was
right,
run,
and it was just something you could just count on. And
they don't
rely
have
on.
it anymore, unfortunately, like that.
Really?
But the reason why it was important for me that there was real money there was that, sometimes it's just the easiest way people can attach value to something, and I think my parents were like, wait a second. Why would somebody pay our son this amount of money for that work? And it confirmed, they believed in me, and I believed in myself. I was 11, but I'm like, we got to get an agent. Do you guys know what agents are? These are casting directors. We need to call the casting directors. We should get photos. I was really pressing my parents, and they were super supportive, and they believed in me. But then when somebody else steps in and actually writes a check, it's makes people take it seriously.
Yeah, no, and I think obviously your parents are city people, so like seeing that kind of fiscal response to what you were trying to do, they were like, oh,
I mean, we got
this
flown.
is.
My dad taught at UMass Boston. He got a sabbatical.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we'd take like a big risk, and we went to Santa Fe, New Mexico. We had never been west of the Mississippi at that point, really. And I was in public school in Santa Fe, and like a week after we landed, they flew me and my mother back to shoot this second commercial here in Boston. And, they flew us first class. They put us up at the Copley Hotel. We had, tons of money for per diem.
Yeah.
You know, town cars. Like, wow, this is wild. And again, it just was confirming that, like, because I remember my mother. She's like, at one point asked the producer, she's like, why don't you just hire somebody in Boston or New York? Like, why would you fly us back? He's like, well, your son really could do something that these other kids were unable to do.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a thing where, like, you get, like, these casting directors, like, they know it doesn't matter if you're from Anchorage, Alaska. If they think you're the right person, like, and they got it in their head that you're the right guy, girl, whoever, that's it. You know what I mean?
With young kids, it's like they've got to be able to, like, listen and take direction, be focused, repeat something all day long. You know, those were, like, really long days, and it kind of limits. You know, it's a limited pool.
Yeah, and I think another part of the entertainment business is what we're seeing now, which is awesome, I think, is you're seeing these people who kind of take these leaves of absence from acting or the entertainment business and start coming back around, or the people who have played the long game like yourself and worked your ways into shows like Kingdom, which was huge. You know what I'm saying? That's just a testament to you grinding it out, man.
Oh, bro, I'm a long game player.
It is. You
There's
are
no
a long
question.
game guy. You know what I'm saying?
But I also don't, you know, like there's a Boston spirit, I think, like in a Massachusetts, New England thing. We just don't give up. You know?
Nah,
We don't give up.
Yeah.
We're super persistent. There's nobody who's going to tell us that we can't do something.
Yeah,
In
for
fact,
sure.
that's more motivating. And you know, we were joking before. It's like, do I wish I was 21? I'm like, I really don't, because I've learned so much in my time being an actor, about life, about business, about who I am, about what I want out of life, about how to deal with huge setbacks. And we forget, like, everything's relative. You know, these people that we think have these extraordinary careers and lives, we just, like, throw them up on billboards. It's like, you know, Christian Bale has made a phone call to his agent being like, why didn't I get that role?
Yeah.
You know, like Leonardo DiCaprio is like, there is a role that didn't go to Leonardo DiCaprio.
That he probably really wanted
would've
more
loved
than the
to have
next
done.
5 movies he did.
My point is, and like,
Right.
again, you know, great careers have lots of incredible choices, but like everybody loses a friend. Everybody has a problem with a family member from time to time. Everybody feels insecure. Everybody has like a movie that doesn't work, a performance that isn't great.
How's this? I got one in this last calendar year. I got offered a year-long contract by a brand for a pretty decent amount of money. This is back in October. I said, I'm going to play the long game. I want to go short-term, 3 months. Came the new year, they shut the program down.
Right.
Now, would I rather take that financial lesson now than, let's say,
Yeah,
I'm
of
45,
course.
I'm
With
making
kids and-
movies and,
and-
stuff.
and-
Yeah, exactly. And I just bombed a 7-figure thing or something like that. You know what I mean?
By the way, everybody takes credit
Yep.
when the movie does well.
Sure.
And then when it doesn't do well,
Everybody points fingers and
Yeah,
they're like,
so-
well, if this guy did this and
Of course.
they got the script in this time and a
And
bunch of
it's,
shit.
you know, that stuff is like, obviously, the more successful you get, like, truly the greater the fall. More people are looking at you. It takes so much courage to be a leader.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's in business, whether it's in your family. Truly, I mean, the leader of that family is out there making decisions about how the family's going to operate and
For
where
sure.
they're going to go. And all of a sudden, the person who chooses dinner, well, if the dinner's not good, everybody's like, why'd you choose where we went to dinner?
Yeah.
Well, you scale that up, and it becomes more and more, it takes more courage.
When you become the
more
decision
resilience.
maker, when you become the decision maker, now you're on the hook.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? When you're the breadwinner of a family, you're the leader of a family, and you book a vacation and it sucks and nobody has a good time, the weather's
Correct.
bad. It was gonna be like, Dad, why the fuck?
Yeah, and
did
then
we
you
come
imagine
here?"
doing that on like a $100 million movie.
No,
I mean, like
cannot.
The Rock. Like,
Yeah.
you think about this, he employs hundreds of people in his life, literally.
Oh, yeah.
And when he goes to shoot a movie, there's hundreds of people, thousands of people ultimately, when you factor in post-production and rolling out the movie and getting into theaters that are like, you know, theater owners, people selling popcorn are like relying on this Rock movie doing well. And if it doesn't do well, it's on him in some respects, and it's not on him.
No, you're right, because when you look at these guys that are these big Hollywood draws, because when you think about it, Johnny, like, think back when we were, you're a couple years older than me. You're, what, 42, right?
Yeah, 41.
Okay, so I'm 32. So kind of from the same generation.
Yeah.
You remember this better than I do. back in like the day, man, like you used to have to wait to see somebody's next movie.
Oh, yeah.
To see them. Like
you're not
there was
going on
no,
social media and
No,
seeing,
nothing
well,
on
right.
Instagram. There was nothing anywhere
Totally.
like that. None of that jazz, man.
I miss it.
You had to just wait and see who, Patrick Swayze's next movie. And when you saw the trailer for that at a movie you were seeing, you were like, July 4th, Swayze's in this movie. Okay, we got to be there.
I miss
know
the
what I'm
mystery
saying?
of that. I mean, really,
Right?
I really hate like knowing everything about everybody's life, and I am always trying to balance.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude.
how much do you know about me, and how much do you? I want you not to know about me, because I want to be able to move into different worlds and cultures.
Yeah, and like now I feel like there's less of, this isn't like chirp actors in Hollywood, obviously not, but I feel like there's less of those like box office reliant.
Oh, there's not. I mean, there's
guys.
like 5 anyway.
There's like 5, right?
There's not
Okay.
in my generation.
So you gotta so ready, DiCaprio, The Rock, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Clooney.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah,
I mean, if you
maybe Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, okay, Ben Affleck,
Yeah, but they did that movie, with
Air,
no, that was great. No, I mean, but
The Last Duel,
the last duel didn't do well.
and that nobody can figure out.
And they took a big risk.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, they were like doing a period piece and different characters and so on. So then you have to think like, they have to be thinking too, though, asking those questions. Should I not be taking those sorts of
Right.
risks? Do people not want to see me like that? Do I not want to see myself like? Did I think I could be seen that way? I mean, these are like real questions, and you're sitting around, at the Warren Tavern like I am, having drinks, and you're like throwing around, that movie sucked, or that guy's not great anymore. It's like, these are real people, real careers, real lives, and people taking real risks.
Because you remember, like, if anyone remembers COVID, that like Tom Cruise mic'd up outburst where he was like, "Listen, like,
I loved that outburst.
I kind of did too." Because he's like, dude, like,
We're trying to make a movie
Dude, and like, so many people are relying on
So
this.
many people. These are real bread and butter, and that's why I think like a lot of actors have gone on social media to try to make money from it, versus because it is harder and harder to make money as an actor in LA. I mean, it's wild when I talk to some friends of mine, really famous people. It is hard, dude.
Yeah.
The cost of living, like you look at Boston, the cost of living here is expensive.
Yeah.
And if you're only trying to take certain kinds of jobs, not take every work that comes your way, you're left with big gaps where you're not getting paid, and there's not really residuals anymore.
And the best part about to compound this point is,
I think it's dangerous though, because I think people get caught in a social media loop as actors, and then you're like, are you an actor or are you like a social media?
and that's where like the line kind of blurs, because it's funny you mentioned this point about like picking and choosing projects as an actor. A thing that people don't realize is 92% of actors don't have that luxury.
That's right.
That's like, hey, listen, you haven't worked in 6 months.
Probably 99%.
99%. Here's a script.
Yeah.
Want to make money or not?
Yeah. And by the way, I say no to lots of things, and I don't get paid for them,
Right.
So, and there's also times where it's like, we don't want to see actors all the time. Like, there's just certain actors like, dude, you need to go away for a little bit.
100%. That fatigue, that like
Yeah,
visual
we've just
fatigue.
seen too much
yeah,
of you.
I get that.
And then I imagine, there's other actors who are like, oh God, you're shiny, or you're the center of attention for periods of time when you're releasing a movie or you have a show coming out. You're like everywhere, and then you're not everywhere. Now then the next person's everywhere. And if you're not comfortable with who you are and like who you really are, that can be very jarring for people.
And I think the entertainment industry as a whole, this goes across film, this goes across music, content, everything, is you're seeing more and more of these like moment people.
Totally.
Moment people. Listen, if you have a moment, God bless you, probably worked your entire life for that moment, right? But I think the whole like career longevity thing, the guys and girls that go generationally, is so much more few and far between.
You gotta have a real good sense of self.
Real
man.
good. Back in the, I mean, I gotta say again, credit to the old school film stars, man. Those people were like 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe finished filming in the early 2000s, something like that. Somebody like Gene Hackman,
God, I love Gene
stud
Hackman.
70s, 80s, 90s. wrapped his last movie early 2000s. It was just like,
I mean, I hope I die on set. Like, I would like to truly, like, I want to work till the end of
can it be a movie that we do together? I want to see
Yeah,
that.
dude.
Okay,
I hope
awesome.
it's in a long. I hope it's in a long time from now.
Sure,
because
yeah, for
you know,
sure.
I don't
Absolutely. I
wanna
don't
die,
care
but
if I'm like
want-
tree number 3 on the set. I'll just wear my Bush costume and sit right there. I'm like, I want to be there when Johnny goes out when we're both 92 and 82 years old.
Yeah, but it's just, I think it's important for people to recognize that these parallels there's a real parallel between the life you're living, not you, but one, and the life that actors are living, in the sense that we're all dealing with similar sense of insecurities and hopes, and the closer you can get to the real sense of self, the happier your life will be, and ultimately, like, the better your work will be, because then you can have those gaps, you can choose the right projects,
Right.
and the audience can accept you as the right character.
Continuing that point, what was your entourage moment where you were like, I got the theme music playing in the background, like I'm going up, like we got a big break. Like, what was your like entourage moment? You with the, like, I don't know if you had a crew of guys you were hanging with, guys you brought from back home out to LA. What was your like, this is all, like, this is the break, like not even the breakthrough, but like you were here working to this point, and then it was like, nice, we just got up a level and at these parties.
I think I did a movie at the in the early 2000s called The Deep End. It was with Tilda Swinton. It went to Sundance, and it just got a huge amount of attention. And then all of a sudden, like, I got offered a role. I started getting offered roles. Like, people were like, oh, I want that guy from that movie. And it made her career, Tilda Swinton. She became like a real thing.
Was that before she did The Beach?
That was before she did The Beach.
It was.
Yeah.
Which I like, by the way. I think it's kind of underrated. Not total side note, like ADHD movie fan
Yeah,
thing.
I'm fairly certain it is.
Okay. Yeah.
It came out in 2000, I think. Or
Then
2000.
so was The Beach.
Yeah.
So she probably did this movie right before,
Yeah.
or
this made her career.
Yeah,
Like, this,
gotcha.
this was an inflection point.
Yep, and she's
And that was
obviously
an
been
inflection
rocking
point.
since.
An inflection point for me too. And then then what ends up happening is, like, you get on if you can lead a TV show, like a network TV show, that's like another step. So then, that was the Black Donnellys, and you're like, okay, because there is like a leadership quality that's needed for those productions, because you got to be awesome at on Saturday morning at 1 a.m. And you have to be lovely to people, and you got to bring the whole crew with you. So you do that, and that's kind of a next step.
The Black Donnellys was with Tom Geary, right?
Yeah,
From The Sandlot.
correct.
A lot of people kind of lose Tom in that, like,
Yeah, great guy.
That's great to hear. I love
Great
that he's
New
actually
Jersey,
a good dude. Yeah.
great dude.
Oh, he's a Jersey kid?
Yeah,
Didn't
from
realize
Trenton.
that, because he did The Sandlot in '93, which, by the way, can we talk about something again? This little ADHD thought. Rotten Tomatoes just continues to make zero sense to me, because they had The Sandlot at a 51 for like a while, and I'm like, dude, who is running this website and how does the scale work? It just makes no sense. But it's great that I remember that was like the next thing I remember seeing him in. I was like, oh, dude, this dude's doing a movie about, a show about Boston, right? Black Donnellys and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was about New York.
New York, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, New
Black
York,
Irish.
right. Got you. Black, right. Yep. So, how he's just a good dude on set.
Great
Like,
guy.
really?
Great guy. The whole, Olivia Wilde was in that. Paul Haggis directed it.
Yep.
Great group of people.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, the other part of it that's also real life that parallels Hollywood is, like, you got to watch out for drugs and alcohol and ego and, and not screwing up your personal life, not getting so confident that you're a jerk and you don't work too hard,
Yep.
or that you become lazy, or you make so much money that you don't do the work, or you screw up your finances and you have to take certain jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks to see some of these actors having to take certain jobs. You're like, why is this dude doing this?
You know what's funny? More to this point, what he's saying, I think it's somebody told, I forget who said it in an interview recently. It might have been somebody like Kevin Pollak, who's had a great career as like a supporting actor.
Yeah.
Funny guy, great impressionist.
Good friend of mine. Love Kevin.
Cool dude, right? I think somebody asked him, I think he might have been on the Rich Eisen show, and they were like, what
Rich
are these?
Eisen, another good friend of mine.
Great
You're
dude.
talking to my buddies.
Yeah, dude. He was like, what's the key to, like, that these guys, these big stars all have, these dudes that are still making movies after 30 years in the business? He was like, dude, honestly, all those guys you see that you think are mostly pretty cool, they actually are.
Yeah.
They're like Brad. He's like, Brad Pitt's a wicked cool
Yeah.
guy. Clooney's a wicked cool guy. Like,
course.
they're like, these dudes are like, people like working with them. That's why they keep getting
That's absolutely right.
work. You know what I'm saying? Then you have other actors who have reputations and things. Like you said things like that. I know somebody, again, this isn't like talking shit. He says it. So it's in his document. Val Kilmer struggled with that.
Big time.
Because that guy was the it guy coming up late. Dude, remember Tombstone? He was on fire, that guy. And I think he even, he'll say it in interviews. He was like, I had an ego and it got the better of me. And now looking back
People
at my
don't
younger...
want to work with jerks, man.
No, it's
and
not.
you can do it for so long, and then at a certain point, people are like, if you're not... I mean, you have to be magical to be a jerk and still work. I mean, off the charts.
Because
magical.
you got to think that studios at that
They
point
don't
are
want to
just...
deal with it. And even more so now, buddy.
Right, and they got to be waiting for, like, let this kid flop one movie. Let one movie bomb, and now we have justification and not give this guy shit for the next 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then with social media, it's like, there's some actors that should have better careers, and they're just kind of jerks.
Yeah, and you know what though? You're right, man. And it's just like the entertainment industry has all. I think the biggest thing that confuses people, and this even goes to athletes, is everybody assumes that every big celeb or whoever it is, like, has the perfect attitude and does everything right.
Oh yeah, no way.
Regular people can be extraordinarily good at something and still have like all the character flaws of some guy standing on the street over there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, second thing we'll segue into your entrepreneurial stuff. Mm-hmm. Here we are. We're in Boston Garden.
Yeah.
This is your dispensary.
Yeah.
How long has this been a thing that you've wanted to do?
Well, I started managing my money when I was 11 with that commercial and films, and I realized you had to be financially conservative to be creatively reckless. And so I've invested in lots of different things behind the scenes, and got married. I wanted to have kids. Saw a pretty seismic change in the way in which the entertainment business was working, and it's really, it's all relative. If I want to live in LA, and part of what I do, I want to be there. It's better for my work, but the cost of living is really it's astronomical. Mm-hmm. So I might make a lot of money, but I'm spending a lot more, and so I'm kind of at a place where I needed to take a big swing financially. And I grew up reading the business section of newspapers. I've always been interested in business leaders and building teams and understanding kind of the financials of how these sorts of operations run. And so like any startup, kind of, I learned how much I didn't know as we got into it, but had an opportunity that came to me to save a family-owned dairy farm in Framingham. I love American farms. I love America. I love New England.
Such a thing you never really hear anybody just fall into.
I'm
Just the old dairy farm hand me down.
I would love to figure out a way to save that. And they said we're going to do it by wildcatting for a cultivation, manufacturing, and production license in cannabis. So started doing my diligence on it. I had been approached for cannabis investments for 10 years, but I wasn't interested in it. Saw a pretty big shift, particularly in Massachusetts and nationally, and was like, let's do this. So I jumped on an airplane. I did a little diligence on the ground. Have great relationships here in Massachusetts, and was like, let's get rich quick, and I'll write a small check. And now 6 years later, and millions of dollars of debt, with multiple investors who are like waiting to get paid back, and God willing, we will. We pivoted into retail. The farm was saved in kind of an unconventional way, through cannabis and not through cannabis.
Every cow.
One at a time.
That's
still
what
out
it
there.
was.
That's why where I was this morning.
You just had to get rid of all staff.
It's a beautiful property,
and you're just going around hand milking every cow essentially on the farm. That's how you gotta. That's how you save money, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like this
labor. Work on labor
costs. Do it yourself, right?
Yeah. So we're now in retail. And it's the Boston Garden Dispensary. We've got a store in Athol. We've got this store here in Cambridge across from Leach Beer.
Such a great name, too. It's like such a perfect name.
I love you saying that. And then we've got our brand, our in-house brand, is Lobster Pot.
And
Lobster rolls, so the pre-rolls.
I still have one of those in my car.
Lobster bake.
Dude,
Fresh catch,
and it's the
little
red,
pinchers.
and it's the red case.
Yeah.
You pick the red, dude.
It
Everything
looks like the napkins on a table in Cape Cod.
The branding here has been awesome.
Oh, well, the bottom line is like, when Sam Adams started when you could buy it outside of New England, which was a whole thing. You couldn't buy Sam Adams outside of New England for a long time.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, if you're in LA, they'd be like, oh, there's this one bar, it's Sonny McLean's, and they've got Sam Adams. Like, what? They've got Sam Adams, and everybody.
That's right. That is the Boston bar.
Yeah, but everybody from New England's like, oh, we gotta go because they've got Sam Adams.
Right.
Now you can buy it everywhere. But what I'm trying to do, and what I think is important for people like in Massachusetts and New England, is like we want to create these awesome national level quality brands that speak totally and wholly authentically to us as New Englanders, as Bostonians. And if we do that, then they can leave New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts,
the
Rhode Island,
cannabis
Maine.
version of Dunkin' Donuts.
Sure.
The cannabis version of Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Right up that alley.
I mean, look, Boston Market could have been
Boston
that too.
What you could have been.
They were for a long time.
They really were.
And that was a brand that was started here.
They had
Boston
a great
Chicken.
They had a great run. They had a great run, whatever you want to era.
They were shiny for a while.
They were. And now if you look behind us, there's a line of people right there hanging out.
Yeah, here we are, 420 at the store.
Whole crowd just kind of flooded out. How do you think, we talked about this before, the cannabis industry has been treated in Massachusetts since it's been
very challenging here, man. It's super challenging. Even like the fact that we can't open our doors here. Like we've got these beautiful farm sliding doors in the store that look out to this great wraparound glass onto Monsignor O'Brien Highway. You can't even open the doors because you have to have like a 2-foot setback, and you can't see product, and you can't smell product.
Why do they make it
they won't even? This isn't even the product. This is just opening the doors to let light in.
They force every dispensary to look like the least appealing building
Yeah,
ever.
it looks like we've got more cameras here, more banking security issues. More, it's like this is not the concerns when you go to some of these community meetings and when you and that look the I think the government and the regulators are trying to respond to people's concerns. People are concerned that somehow they're going to have violence and mayhem and robberies and kids getting addicted and people using drugs outside of.
Has the dispensary been robbed yet?
Yeah, one maybe, but you know what else has been robbed? Are CVS pharmacies.
The National friggin' Bank of America has been robbed. People steal anything.
Yeah, so it's frustrating because it's onerous, and it costs an extraordinary amount of money to get these up and running. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I find frustrating is we basically had these antiquated drug laws in America that penalized, criminalized, broke up families of a certain group of people disproportionately, like just by the numbers. And I'm a real centrist. I am a registered independent, and I agree with a lot of the things you've talked about in Massachusetts on your handle.
Appreciate you.
Black people, Hispanic people have been whacked by marijuana. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
How badly the criminal justice system has dealt with that one specific group of people with marijuana. So let's give what?
Numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
No,
I mean, if you get caught with cannabis, and anyways, it's really frustrating. And so they should have some fast track to make money off of it now. And also, it was a business that it really pisses me off that so many markets, not just Massachusetts, have kind of nodded to the fact that they want to help the communities that were disproportionately affected by cannabis, but then handcuff them. And with the regulations that make it so onerous to do it, don't provide any access to capital. And what they've done is they've essentially brought them into like a quick sand trap because they've led this group of people thinking that they were going to be able to benefit from these regulations changing. They spend money, and then they can't get the stores up and running. It's awful.
It's like a guy. It's almost like dangling a fish bait in front of like someone's face and then leading them, and they fall down like a hole. You know what I'm saying?
So our store is a partnership with an incredible entrepreneur, mother daughter out of Dorchester, or out of Roxbury, and they were getting licenses and needed capital, and we had capital, and we're also getting licenses, and figured this was going to be a great partnership. And it has been wonderful. This woman, Evilise Rivera, who is also president of the Red Sox Foundation, just hungry and smart, and has all the right values. And it's been a wonderful journey, the two of us on this, and of course a much larger team. But it's a big problem.
Do you feel like oversaturation has been an issue in the market
Big
as well?
time. Yeah, they don't. I mean, yeah, you're going to really dig into some wounds here. You can't have all these people going through these hurdles, spending all this amount of money, and then another shop pops up right around the corner.
That's what I mean. It's like
it's everywhere.
It's almost like the liquor license thing. You know what I mean? How that can be a challenge.
Totally.
Where it's like, we're handing things out, and now you get a dispensary on. Some towns have 8.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Like, it's crazy.
And then some towns have none.
Correct.
And there's no, you're not really thinking about how to build a long-term sustainable market for this, which ultimately goes to the bottom line of the Commonwealth. I mean, they're getting the taxes for it.
Right.
There's lots of jobs here for it, but we'll be out of business if they don't figure it out.
It's
really, I mean, like we will not like this store will not be in business if they don't figure it out.
It's like I said, there's money to be made in this industry. Obviously, there was before it was legal. There is now that it's legal. It's up in a state like Massachusetts, man. They will find a way to get pennies out of you. You know what I'm saying? They will get money out of citizens at any
But they
cost.
could be getting dollars, and they're going to end up getting pennies.
Yep.
They're going to end up getting pennies, and the pennies are going to be coming from the groups of people that they were not hoping. They were from the wrong group.
Right. I totally agree with you. Yeah, no, 1,000%. What, in addition to cannabis, do you remember what your first entrepreneurial venture was? What the first thing you invested in was?
Of course. I sold lemonade across from the Bunker Hill Monument
to
tourists.
Tight. That's good stuff.
I mean, I could make in literally the early 90s. I was making like $100+ a day selling lemonade.
Like $350 a day now.
$400. I mean, dude, it was crazy. My friends, out in the burbs or anywhere else were making like maybe $20. Maybe if they were lucky, but more like 15.
Yeah.
I was selling for a quarter or 50 cents, and the busloads would come into the monument. And when I got a little too old and not as cute, at like 8, I got my sister in there. I put my younger sister. I'm like, look, sit here. We're going to fill it up with some of your toys. We'll do a senior citizens discount.
Yeah. Sit there, smile, and wave and watch the money
I'll give you a
in.
quarter of the profit.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. You're a part owner now. You get a percentage. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Are you a sports centric guy? Like you like a big
yes.
sport? Okay, so
I'm from Boston.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you remember your first time like going to TD Garden? Because you probably got to go to the old one.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So
TD Garden bums me out.
Yeah, right.
The old Boston Garden was unbelievable. It was the largest indoor sports arena in the world without air conditioning.
I've heard RA told us stories.
It was incredible.
My dad went and see the Bruins play the Oilers in like the '89 Cup, I think it was. And they had to stop the game because of the fog.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't see. Nobody could see anything.
And you could smoke in there. Red Auerbach smoking cigars. It's crazy.
My old man and RA confirmed the story and everything. He was like, you go up between periods on the concourse, and people were just ripping cigs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was just...
Boston cops opening the doors of the top to let their buddies in. Radios playing the thing, banging on the metal. It was unbelievable.
And then if you sat on the balcony... The ice was like where your foot is. So you're like looking down at guys.
Correct.
It was just...
It was so romantic.
Did you... You want to talk about an intimate sports setting, right? Exactly.
It was unbelievable.
You're on
the
action.
And the TD Garden's just so... it's like I could be at the Staples Center. I could be...
Right.
I could be anywhere.
TD Garden, I think the new one, the biggest problem that they have right now is hands down they have added way too many seats. If you go to sit down, it doesn't matter unless you are 5'3" and 120 pounds. You're going to be
too tight.
Dude, you got to.
I'm there tonight for the game.
The Loge has a little more room. The balcony, it's like don't even try. It's just you're going to be smush city. You know what I mean?
And that's why Fenway is so great. There's a reason why people love Fenway, love Wrigley, love Camden Yards.
Fenway. If you sit in the right seats at Fenway. The Ted Williams seats I can't do. The wooden ones I'm talking with the metal armrest.
I'm just talking about the romance.
The
romance. Dude.
The environment is second
People want to get
none.
so into making money. It's like, could you imagine going to see a Celtics game today in the old Garden? Yeah,
No,
you
it
don't
would
get
be
so many seats. Yes, it doesn't have the boxes, corporate boxes.
Right.
Yes, it's hard to get in and out of. I get it. Like there's so, but like, could you imagine?
No, I can't.
You come to
because that's-
Boston
yeah,
and you're
dude.
playing there, dude.
No,
Ugh.
I can't. And it's like you got a guy telling you "fuck you" in the balcony, and you can hear it like at the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude.
it's just I feel really. TD Garden has and Fenway have kind of sacrificed some of that comfort for like money, and I'm like, dude, do you guys not make enough money already? Is the viewer experience not like? Because I'm gonna say something. You go to TD Garden on a late June night, 7 o'clock first pitch, clear sky. It's like 80 degrees. It is the best. It's the best. You know what I mean? You get the sunset going while the game's.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, dude. It's like.
You're talking about Fenway.
Fenway. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Did I say
yeah.
TD Garden? I don't know if I misspoke. I was talking about. Did I say TD Garden? Sorry, I meant Fenway. My bad. Gillette Stadium. I've never had a desire to go to.
I've never been.
Never. I've been once for a Pats preseason game, and I think 2005 was it. Never had a desire to make that drive out. Sit there. Football is something I would rather watch on my couch. I don't know about you. Do you guys any? How do you feel? Right? It's just not. The Revs. It's
For
gonna
soccer?
Be, you want to talk about traffic? Thank God. No offense to the Revs. Thank God it's the Revs. The traffic might not be crazy. I think it's going to be a way better location for the stadium, for sure. I also think they could have put it at BU's old Nickerson Field because they used to
I
have
just want iconic sports venues in our town. Like
Likewise.
we're an iconic city.
Agreed.
We're an like everything about Boston is unique and different, and special and small and strange and esoteric and like if you don't know where you're going, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And we love that. And we have title championship teams. Make the venues like really exciting.
We're in a tough spot right now because, well, not tough, but like, listen, we got Pats and Sox struggling, obviously. We have Celts start a playoff run, I think Monday, tomorrow, right? Okay, Bruins are tonight. This is a fun time in the city.
Oh, it's great
a fun time to be
in
around the
Boston.
city,
Being in
man.
Boston in general.
Yeah.
I don't care what season, buddy. When you come back, it's just there's nothing like it. I mean, the fire truck that I saw yesterday has got a permanent Bruins decal on the front of it.
So sick, right?
Well, yeah, it's great.
You've obviously
fantastic.
been around LA a lot.
Yeah.
So the sports fandom and passion is non-comparable, obviously, right?
It's just totally different.
Really?
Totally
Okay.
different.
Can you explain how? Because you were there for long enough, I'm sure you observed how these people.
But look, the best part about sports is that it's very uniting. I mean, like that's the thing that people don't. If they don't understand sports, what they don't understand is that it brings different kinds of people together. You know, and that's why like the finances are challenging when these tickets are so expensive. You don't get to have that mix of like economic diversity at these venues. It's frustrating.
Well, how are like middle class families supposed to take?
No, it's crazy. You can't.
Two adults and 3 kids. You're going for
thousands of dollars. It's like
$1,100
No,
for
it
the
doesn't
night,
make-
dude. That's 2
no way.
paychecks for some people, dude. Like you can't.
There's
like,
no way.
No way. There's
But,
no way.
but we all can root for something together,
sure.
and that's great. And like I remember listening to a few sports owners talking about when they bought the teams, they realized they started getting calls from kids who are dying of cancer in hospitals, and what do they want? They want to meet that player. That grandfather who is passed away wants to be buried in a Bruins Bruins box, or they get those sorts of calls, and they're like, oh, these sports teams mean a lot. They're much more than just sports teams. They represent something a lot more. And I'll tell you, in LA, like those Dodgers fans, that's real. The Lakers fans, that's real.
Yeah.
I think the football is less so because those teams
sure.
moved around quite a bit. But the LA Football Club, I'm not a soccer guy, but people are getting very passionate about that. And LA is such a diverse city. I mean, it is really like wildly diverse. It's great to be at some of these games and see the different kinds of people all wearing, the Dodgers blue.
I've heard Dodger games are actually
Dodger
a lot
games
of
are
fun.
great. They're great, and I actually think that like I didn't love beating the Dodgers in the World Series. I wanted the Red Sox to win, but I didn't take any joy in beating. It's like almost like it's like a good working class team. They kind of they're a different league. They remind me of like the Sox in some ways.
Yeah, I mean
they're scrappy.
Yeah, I like I said, I've always respected the Lakers. I was a huge Shaquille O'Neal fan.
Yeah,
like
I was too, as a
Shaq
kid.
is my favorite basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed watching that rivalry. I obviously didn't see the Larry Bird Magic Johnson one from the 80s.
Did you ever play NBA Jam on the arcade game?
The Genesis. We had it on Sega Genesis, yeah.
I remember playing it at halftime pizza across from the garden.
Shit.
It was so great, dude.
Shout out to Justino and Matt Pasquale. Those are our buddies. They own it.
Dude, halftime pizza back then. I mean, I wasn't, a monumental fan of the pizza.
Do you have a favorite pizza in the city?
Yeah, I went to Square Deli in Everett.
Everett, that's your favorite right now?
I went yesterday. I brought it to my buddy's mother, who's going through she had just had brain surgery at Spalding Rehab. So I was like, if I'm going to bring the best pizza in town to her. I used to be a Regina's fan on Thatcher Street.
Yeah.
They've let me down quite a bit.
Regina is...
Hot take. Thatcher Street, Regina's has let me down. I grew up on it. I would go to war for it.
I mean, it's right there.
They've let me down. I've heard that Medford Regina's is great.
I think Regina is a very accessible pizza. I have it in like the low 7s. It's a good pizza.
I like Santapio's a lot. I think it's good.
He's a big tarps guy.
It's totally different.
It is totally unique. He's a big tarps guy. I'm not a huge tarps guy. Again, tarps, low 7s, good pizza.
Square Deli, dude.
It's just good. The only thing Chris does, man, with the parm on the pizza, it's a little bit too much.
I love the parm. I'm a parm guy.
So you're a parm on the pizza
I
guy.
get you. I know Portnoy and you guys don't like it, but I love the parm. I think it's incredible. And I love Chow for the Neapolitan.
Yeah,
and after Dylan's spot, go right to Chow.
They know what my favorite Neapolitan spot is because they absolutely hate it. It's called Pastoral. It's on Congress Street near their building, and they suck because they just don't know.
I heard Pico is good too.
I've also heard that too. Yeah, no, I've heard that as well. But yeah, they just have no idea what good pizza is because they hate my favorite place, and it's the best. It's the best Neapolitan pizza that you can get. But what was I going to say though? Do you have like a? I mean, I know the Warren is like your favorite place, but like, where do you love to eat? Like when you come back home.
I really am like a pizza guy, so I really do like hit up all those different.
Really?
I will always go to Santapio's. I will always be at. I will always go to Square Deli.
Yeah.
I just like that they're making great pizza in Boston.
I know.
No, I don't really.
You're not a big restaurant guy.
No, because when I come here now, I'm like I'm right to work.
Right.
And but the things I like doing is like I enjoy going to see Mark Delagrate over at Sitya Dong.
That's our guy right there. He's
right
up the street. I might drop in and see if he's there.
I like going to
this.
Inner City Workout, which is the they take folks who've come out of prison and they pay for their training, for their certification for personal training. I like working out with those guys. I like taking a run on the Charles River. I like. Boston now offers me all these sorts of other different things that I didn't used to participate in.
Mark is a hidden gem around the city. So Mark Delagrate legitimately brought Sitya Tong to the United States. He had to earn that title back in Thailand. So if you ever seen those crazy Muay Thai boxing fights with dudes that would break your leg with a kick in 5 seconds, I'm pretty sure he's won. Several big tournaments.
He is literally world class.
World class Muay Thai artist.
Yeah, right? He does all the in-ear for UFC commentators. So
he's in the
when you think they know what they're talking about, it's
exactly.
Actually Mark.
No, it's Mark in the ear like he's going for an arm bar. He was telling us how he does the whole process. He's like, guy's going for an arm bar. Zoom in on camera 2 so you can get a shot at a guy going for a hold or something. Kind of an unassuming guy. Not the biggest dude, but
he speaks Italian.
Yeah.
His dogs speak Italian. He also speaks Thai. His wife cooks Thai. It's unbelievable. She's not Thai.
Marie's unbelievable. Yeah, they're an unreal family. They're just the best people ever.
Yeah.
And Mark's that guy. He's got a very laid back kind of offhand personality, but you can tell
great human being.
Oh yeah, he's the nicest guy ever. 2, it's just a dude you wouldn't think you just don't want to end up with a problem with that dude. It's guy will spin your head around in 2 seconds.
You know what place I do love, now that I'm thinking about it, is Jen Royal's restaurant Table. How you follow the whole controversy she had? And you know what's amazing, dude?
She's interesting.
Oh, yeah, she's a total character. She admits she's a character. She's a great character. But have you been to the restaurant?
I haven't. I'm afraid to go.
No, you shouldn't be. You should do a whole thing on it because it's an experiential restaurant. You don't just, the guy who did cancel... that story got totally mixed up because people don't understand what the restaurant is. And by the way, go try to book a seat at the table. There's 15 explanations of why you can't cancel. Or you'll be charged for it. There's every time you press a new button to skip to the next forward on Resi, they're just to remind you, this is not a regular restaurant.
It was definitely an interestingly handled situation on both ends.
Of course.
I get that.
I'm saying, but it's a different kind of a restaurant.
For sure.
And you should go because you'll get it when you. And the food's amazing, and she's amazing. The staff's amazing. It's like a whole fun.
I don't doubt for 2 seconds that the restaurant's probably great, and she's probably just an eccentric restaurant person.
Correct.
It's the same. Excuse me. It's the same thing like an eccentric actor, a director. You probably experienced 1,000 of those.
If you're
where
gonna hire John Malkovich, I'm sure it's gonna be a little. You're going to get something interesting. You know what you're getting into because you've gotten 15 pages on Resi telling you what you're getting into.
Yeah, you hired Nick Cage for a movie. You're probably going to be like, this guy's going to Nick Cage the fuck out of this.
Correct.
And you know what? That's what
you got.
we're signing up for.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
But that's a great spot. You should go. You really should go. It's a lot of fun.
I'll go with you if you want.
Great.
Like, let's do it. Because we have to hit a restaurant anyways.
Yeah.
We got to do something. How much? What do we have for time? 15. Got you. To close out. Excuse me. Obviously, acting in the entertainment industry is like huge trial and error process. You're auditioning for things. It's handling a lot of rejection.
Sure.
And like you said, it's a lot of like calculated risk. It's like, do I take this? Do I do this? Should I pass on this? Are there any movies that you passed on that you wish you didn't?
Yes.
Or are there any like roles that you almost got and you made it to maybe the last round of auditions and went somebody else?
I will not tell you the former.
Shit.
But there's quite a few.
Okay.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're like, and he got nominated for X, Y, or Z.
Sheesh.
You're like, you got to be kidding. And you got to laugh at it, dude.
Right.
Like, you don't laugh at it maybe at 21. And that's why I'm like talking about why.
Right.
I like
and you're
being
sitting in
older
your
now.
apartment in LA like,
I can't believe. Yeah, you get angry.
Right.
And now you go, dude, that's how it works.
It is,
That's how it works.
yeah.
I'll tell you something else. Like, I've slid in for roles. Like, I did a thing for Hulu called Monsterland with Caitlin Dever. Really cool little TV show. And I'm fairly confident I wasn't the first person who had the offer for that because it came in as late as it did. I got a call, got an offer. Really cool script, really cool team. Go and shoot that. And I have to, in my head, go, I might not have been their first choice.
But I'm here now.
But I'm here now.
Because shit.
Be awesome.
Right, exactly.
Be amazing.
Because at the same time, it's like, dude, look at somebody like Richard Gere. Didn't he make like half of his career off like roles that John Travolta passed on or something?
There's so many examples of people getting nominated for getting Academy Awards for movies that like they literally were the fourth person on the list.
Legit. And then, yeah.
But some, your ego gets in there, dude.
For sure.
You're like, why wasn't I the first? If they didn't want me originally, why am I, giving?
Right.
I would. The first thing that comes to mind is like Donnie Darko. Like it was me and Jake Gyllenhaal for Donnie Darko, right till the very end.
Are you fucking kidding me?
There's a few probably like that, but like that's what happens when you've been working as an actor for 30 years.
Yeah, that's just part of the game. That's unbelievable. Oh my God, Donnie Darko. That's like.
But then back in the day they used to really do these screen tests.
Right.
Well, you actually like they have real cameras and real film and real. So you do a few of those, and
they leak online every now and then. You see them. You see Tobey Maguire with Spider-Man. You see Christian Bale's Batman audition. Stuff like that. They'll leak them online every now and then.
But you don't leak. You haven't seen the ones of the people who didn't get them usually.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Exactly.
And it's
Rarely
usually
do
the
you see
same
that.
characters. Like when you look at some of those groups of people that are reading for the same roles, they're usually like there's one or two people you've never heard of.
Sure.
But then the 4 or 5 others are like, oh, they're all movie stars.
Right. Now, this is my closing point. Just like I said, the first movie I ever remember seeing you in, obviously we talked about The Ruins, was that mostly, do you think that like horror movies, remember how those used to be like a catapult for like young actors kind of career? Final Destinations, something like The Ruins, Texas Chainsaw Massacre one from 2003. That was you?
Yeah.
You were in that, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, by the way, I think that's one of the better, more underrated remakes.
Yeah.
That I think we've seen, not only in horror, just like in general.
Yeah, great.
Like
great
that movie was like, dude, they did who directed that?
Marcus Nispel, great music video and commercial director.
Yeah, that he really got he got it. You could tell you're like this guy's seen the original movie.
Well, and we have the same cinematographer, Daniel Pearl, shot the original and shot this.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because like, do you think that that's not really a trope anymore? Not a trope, but you know what I mean, like when you're a young actor, you get offered this movie, like this horror film or something like that, or it'd be like a teen comedy. It was those two I felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Those were like launching points for
young actors.
Yeah,
but
also
look at like American Pie.
Yeah.
Some of those, but it launched and then I don't know if the actors took advantage of that opportunity, or maybe they were prepared for the opportunity, or they didn't want to work to become great actors, or I don't know. But I mean, look, out of that group, there's only a few people that really sustained.
Because when you think Allison Hannigan went to How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. She's set in sitcom legendary residual
for
heaven
sure.
for the rest of her life.
Good,
good for her. Jason Biggs, I think, went more and did plays. He's like big on Broadway, isn't he? Like that kind of thing?
There was just such a huge movie at that point.
Huge, Jesus Christ!
So you're given these extraordinary opportunities, and you just want to be ready for them. Mm-hmm. But The Ruins didn't do great at the box office. And funny, when we were talking about this podcast before, I was like, it's amazing how people really love that movie when they've seen the movie. It totally holds up.
Dude, it does hold up.
Yeah, totally.
It does hold up.
The director of it won Sundance for a short film. He is one of the biggest fashion photographers in the world. Mm-hmm. And every head of department had an Academy Award, every single one, for Lord of the Rings. They all did Lord of the Rings because we shot it in Australia.
Holy shit!
So everybody was top of their class.
Yeah.
Spielberg was super involved. Ben Stiller super involved. Movie's great. It's a really fun movie.
It is good. I find these movies.
It's a really fun movie. By the way, I legitimately did not go in and meet with them on it multiple times because I was like, I don't want to be part of a killer Vine movie. Yeah, but I was wrong. It's a great movie.
Listen, that's how you do the plant killer plot twist. I think
totally
something like, no offense, The Happening might have.
I haven't seen it.
It's the same. It's the one with Mark Wahlberg. Mark's good in the movie. It's just a weirdly written and shot movie. You know what I'm saying? And it ends up being like people are committing, suicide, and it's the plants telling people to do it. The Ruins makes a little more sense, I think. You know what I'm saying?
And it's based on a best-selling book.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is based on a book. And that's basically, man, it's just funny how there's different avenues in Hollywood and different ways that careers take off and
and luck happens and work happens and family happens.
It really is all about luck. Not all about luck, but dude, I had to put out videos for 9 years before I had one hit. You had to go on how many auditions before?
Oh, yeah.
Umpteen. I'm sure you lost count. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, great show. Thanks was
for having
awesome,
me, Mark.
buddy.
Appreciate it, bud. Big fan.
Don't thank me for anything, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. It's Chuck.
We'll cut that, bud. Cut that.
What can people look for you in next? What's coming up? Even with the entrepreneurial stuff, tell everybody what's on the docket.
I had this movie come out last year called Palm Trees and Power Lines. Got nominated for an Independent Spirit Award. Won Deauville. Director won Sundance. People should watch that.
Where can they find it? Do you know where it is?
It's probably on Amazon or
something.
Or you can buy it on Apple Movies or whatever. Yeah, no, it did. It's a really.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty serious movie, independent film.
Nice.
And I've been really putting my focus in the Boston Garden, and then I've been kind of using all the lessons I learned from building this company, and I've been advising a handful of other companies. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm not going to share what's coming up because I don't want to jinx anything. So
I actually like that a lot, to be honest with you, because I also have the same mentality. I'm just things are going well.
Things are going well.
I don't care if somebody's got $1 million in front of me. It don't matter.
I'm the luckiest person. I got a great marriage. I got 2 healthy kids. I got 2 legs.
Yep.
I'm from Boston. I'm from Charlestown.
You've had sex twice. Confirmed. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, we did IVF, so you could take it. Just take it away right there.
Whatever, right, exactly. So God love you.
Yep.
Do a great show. Another great episode,
God bless
man.
you, bud. Thank you.
It's another great show.